cards in action?
Oh no, actually there was one when I was in Seattle. There was a group called Mother's Candy or Mother's Cookies, and they put out a set of baseball cards. And so during one of these, and so you'd always pose for pretty much all of those. And they put them out for probably 7 or 8 years. They were from Oakland, California, so being on the West Coast. But one year they wanted to take a picture. I said, wait a minute. So I went and I put on shin guards, and I got a catcher's mask, put my hat on backwards. I got down in the catcher's stance, and that was, I was a pitcher. So I went on that, and so they thought that was a very unusual card for someone that, to kind of be out of position. So on the card, instead of just putting P for pitcher, they put PC. And I thought, oh, that's for pitcher catcher, and they said no, it's for a privileged character. Because no one really had done something like that. They probably got me on a day that I felt a little goofier than normal.
Right. Well, I'm surprised they didn't mix it up and just put catcher on it.
Yeah. That you don't want to confuse people.
No. How about like team cards? Now, from what you remember, were the team cards, was that a special shoot or was it just part of?
Usually just the team photo. Team photos came out. There are a couple cards along the way where I have half of the card. Like I was in Seattle. I was the lowest ERA one year, and Bruce Bochy had the best batting average or something like. So we both had half the card. So I still get those in the mail. I still get cards in the mail. I mean, you guys know. You find out where we live, you send them to us in the mail, and I get them in the mail. I probably get 10 or 15 cards a week in the mail, and as long as they send a self-addressed stamped envelope, there's a fair chance they get it back.
That's very nice.
No, it's.
When you're here signing at a show,
Yeah.
What's the bulk of stuff that's coming up to you to sign? Do you get baseball cards?
Oh, mostly, obviously here, pretty much anywhere is Yankee stuff. Having my brief time with the Yankees and having pitched in the '78 series. But it's baseballs, it's bats, but it's kind of a cool part of it is they have some of these posters, and I mean, they have so many different kinds of posters. But the one thing that was always interesting, especially because I haven't done this for a lot of years. I mean, I was in baseball up until about 3 or 4 years ago working, so I never really went to autograph shows. But now I'm not in baseball, and it gives me a chance to come back and see guys I played with, just kind of fun. So having not been in part of this for all those years, if you have team posters from say '78, there's this one poster that's a Burger King poster. So everybody had signed it except for me, pretty much everybody. I mean, so people are always coming back and said, oh, I've been trying to get your autograph for years, to kind of complete the poster. And these are just kind of fun things that Burger King put out that one year in '78. But I mean, when I come to something like this, I may sign 50 or 60 of those.
Right. I noticed also some people bringing up jerseys with a bunch of list of names, and they're looking just to get your autograph.
Yeah. So I mean, you sign everything. Jerseys are hard to sign.
Yeah.
And bats are hard to sign. I can sign balls, but bats, maybe it's just because I don't like bats.
Okay, so one last question for you. Having someone who's kind of new on the circuit, what has been your experience coming to card conventions and meeting people?
I think it's fun. I mean, it's fun because you really get a chance to, meet people that value this stuff the way that we as players, sometimes we think, what's the big deal or whatever it is. But I mean, it really kind of shows you the impact you have on some people's lives, because they remember stuff that you don't even remember. I mean, a very important day, a guy came up today and said, you pitched and won the fifth game of the '78 World Series. Do you remember what day it was? And I said, it was a Sunday, I think. But I don't remember the date or anything like that. I do remember the score, but that was about it. But these people remember dates, they remember all these kinds of things. So it's, it gives you a realization of how big the game is and how important the game is. In kind of not an important world sense, but in kind of an important, just a bonding sense for people to have a love of the game and love of the players who played it.
Well, it's actually kind of good and bad. The reason why is because I noticed one of the cards that had a mustache. and my mustache grows more like a big cat. Whenever I smiled, and when I was in spring training, the guy said he wasn't going to print that, and so that's a bad card. And the other cards I like, but every time I see that card, you know, it just doesn't suit me. So it's good and they're bad. So, but you know, in general, I liked all the cards.
Right. Well, now your cards, a lot of the cards of what I remember were you kind of posing for the shot. Is that what they would do? They'd bring you in and set you up and call you in for a shot?
Yeah, sometimes they would do that, and sometimes they take more of the action shots, which I kind of like more of the action shots. You know, sometimes too, when you're on camera and you have to act a certain way or look a certain way, it may not be you, you know, rather than action. So I like the action shots.
You yourself, do you ever collect cards or anything ever get your interest?
No. Every once in a while I'll keep cards. Actually, my grandkids, you know, get cards, and they'll save one and say, oh, well, here's another one, and I mean, there's so many of them right now that. But all my grandkids, you know, give me all the cards. So.